Why everybody hates Michelle Obama.
Mr. Reagan.
The other day, I posted a clip of Michelle Obama on X with a simple comment. And that post went absolutely viral, at least for me. I'm not very popular on X.
And let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
My response to this absolutely unhinged rant by Michelle: Dear black people, you don't have to straighten your hair for us. It's okay to leave it curly. We don't care. Now, I post a lot on X, and I always find it interesting which of my posts hit and which don't. I had no idea that this one was going to blow up like it did, but apparently there is a message that really resonates with white people, a message that we want to send to racist black Americans like Michelle Obama. We don't care. White Americans are absolutely done being told that we are the reason for all the problems that black people face in the world. You're late for work? Well, then punctuality is a white supremacist construct. Your straightened hair is inconvenient? Well, that's because white people are forcing black women to straighten their hair. I even remember a clip where one lady said that black women are fat because diets only work for white people because enduring all this racism in America is just so stressful that the diets don't work for black women.
Like, I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower, even when we're following the diet, than our white women counterparts. Our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
I first realized that I truly hate Michelle Obama after a speech that she gave to Jackson State University on April 23rd, 2016. This is a historically black college in Mississippi.
The shadows of the past have not completely disappeared. Maybe it's when you're driving somewhere and you stop for no particular reason. Maybe it's when the folks seem to keep an extra close eye on you as you shop. Maybe it's when you walk down the sidewalk and folks cross the street when they see you coming.
That really pissed me off. Now, a lot of people talk about how Barack Obama revived racial divisions in America. This is a prime example of what they're talking about. Throughout the years, I have heard this claim that white people walk to the other side of the street whenever they see a black person coming. No, we do not walk across the street when we see black people coming, Michelle. We walk across the street when we see black thugs coming. We do the same thing when we see white thugs or Mexican thugs or crazy homeless people. It's called rational discernment. If a white guy who looks dangerous is walking toward a white girl alone on the street, she's probably going to cross the street because that is the rational thing to do. If a black man in a bespoke suit walking toward a white girl walking alone on Fifth Avenue in New York, if a black man in a bespoke suit is walking toward a white girl who's walking alone on Fifth Avenue in New York, she is of course not going to cross the street because he's probably not dangerous. And that's the problem. Because of all the races in America, and that is the problem. Because of all the races in America, which race embraces the thug look? Black Americans, of course. You know this. This is a choice. Because what is the thug look? The thug look is a look that expresses a very specific message. I'm dangerous. That's it. That's the message. Don't mess with me or I'm going to hurt you. It's a way of exerting power over others. It says, get out of my way. And so you got these black guys wearing these clothes that say, get out of my way. And then when white people receive this message and comply with this demand, Michelle Obama, she goes out there and she says, why are you walking away from us? That's racist. There is a comedian, Christina Mariani, who did a brilliant comedy bit about this very thing.
I learned that racism is passed down generationally, so it's internalized, which makes sense. I was walking home, it was late at night, and this black guy walks towards me. And instinctively, I grab my purse, even though logically, I know he's not for sale. He did steal my wallet, though.
Okay, it's not super relevant. I just thought it was really funny. Look, if you don't want people to avoid you, don't dress like you're going to murder everybody. But actually, this kind of thing isn't actually why everybody has grown to hate Michelle Obama. The divisive racist rhetoric is bad, but it gets far worse. I'll get to the really outrageous stuff in one moment. First, of course, I have to sell you something. A lot of people drink way too much in college, and a lot of people carry these habits over into the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and even beyond. And a lot of people hit the party scene and they try drugs. Maybe you're on painkillers, antidepressants, maybe something else. All these things can destroy your liver over time. I personally take medication daily for an inherited chronic illness, and I'm sure many of you can relate. And this is why Purge is offering their new Liver Cleanse products for anyone who needs to clear those toxins out once and for all. PurgeStore.com offers everything you need to cleanse and detox your body. Powerful enzymes and probiotics, 15-day colon cleanse protocols, a parasite cleanse, and of course, the liver cleanse. Use Reagan as a promo code and get 15% off. If you are worried about the health of your liver, check out PurgeStore.com today. The link is in the description below. So it turns out that Michelle Obama doesn't just hate white people, she is a total narcissist who seems to have zero gratitude for Americans electing her husband to the most powerful position in the world, President of the United States of America, nor that she has been made a millionaire 70 times over. And who is a woman who believes, get this, that she is a victim.
Mrs. Obama also writes about the pressure she felt being the first black first family.
You said we were all too aware that as a first black couple, we couldn't afford any missteps.
Yeah.
And you also say, as a black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare. Did you feel that?
For sure. You can't afford to get anything wrong because you didn't get at least until the country came to know us, we didn't get the grace that I think some other families have gotten.
Because you were black, you think that you didn't get the grace that other families have gotten. Michelle, the whole reason your husband was elected to president is that he's black. Are you even aware of reality? These victim narrative race baiters, they always get this stuff backwards. Because black is not a burden in America. It's an advantage. They used to say that being black in America is like starting a 100-meter race 50 meters behind everybody else.
We've been given more opportunity. We don't want to recognize that we've been given a head start. If this was a fair race and everybody was back on that line, I guarantee you some of these black dudes would smoke all of you. And it's only because you have this big of a head start that you're possibly going to win this race called life.
No, being black is like starting a 100-meter race 50 meters ahead of everybody else. You've got affirmative action in college admissions, affirmative action in corporate hiring, DEI policies, black exclusive scholarships, the United Negro College Fund just for black people, minority business set-asides, diversity quotas, corporate diversity targets, lower university admission standards, lower school discipline standards, Hollywood diversity casting mandates, grant preferences for black-led organizations, reduced competency standards in woke corporations, racial justice reforms, millions of dollars in charitable donations to thousands of black-specific charities every year, and on and on and on. Michelle, your husband got a Nobel Peace Prize just for being black. Now, some Americans enjoy wealth privilege, which often gets confused with white privilege, but there's a lot of poor white people in America too, and there are a lot of rich black families too. So wealth privilege isn't really relevant here. The truth is that the Obama family is probably the single most privileged family in the history of the world, having actually done nothing to deserve the privilege that they enjoy. And Michelle still complains about it. A lot of this victim narrative, I think, comes from a radically inflated sense of her own self-importance. Here is probably the clip of Michelle Obama that I hate the most narcissistic, absolutely delusional take I've ever heard from anyone in a long time.
You've got a beautiful new book here.
I got a new
It's called The Look. It's about your style and the soft power of fashion.
I know that growing up, who I saw on the covers of magazines, who I saw on TV as a young girl really mattered to my self-esteem. So I wanted to take advantage of the fact that as the First Lady, yes, you can be smart and educated and beautiful and sexy and interesting and all those things. And yes, you can be a black woman, a tall 5'11" black woman.
You can be smart and educated and beautiful and sexy and interesting and a black woman. Once again, she's pretending that America does not believe this. Michelle, the fact that you are black has zero relevance to anything. Again, we don't care. The reality is that she's a woman. She wants to be perceived as beautiful and sexy and smart and amazing. She wants to be perceived well, naturally. Of course she does. But she's presenting her efforts to be perceived in all of these ways as some kind of noble goal. She's trying to fight back against the evil white racist perception that black women can't be beautiful and sexy and intelligent and interesting. No, Michelle, there is no problem with that in America. Nobody thinks that a black woman can't be all of those things. One of the best known supermodels in American history was Tyra Banks. Oprah created a media empire. This is not 1962. You don't need to pretend that you're breaking down social barriers and changing the evil white racist culture. But it's a much better story to tell. The story that she did all this for the little oppressed black girl. It's a much better story than to say that she just did it because she wanted to look hot. The truth is that Michelle Obama clearly suffers from a lot of insecurity. She lacks self-esteem and she clearly suffers from imposter syndrome. This is the typical maelstrom within which clinical narcissism is always born. She lacks real confidence and so she overcompensates by telling everyone how amazing she is.
The girls listen and they're like, man, you're telling everybody things you tell us every day. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Now you hear it, right?
Yeah.
She's like, they're both like, wow, Mom, you're kind of making sense. I was like, I've been telling you this. Every now and then I make a good point to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know who I am? I'm Michelle Obama.
That's right.
People line up for my advice.
Mm-hmm.
And you're walking away like I'm stupid. It's like, I've written books. I've given speeches. The whole world has listened to me, and I can't get you to just do what I told you to do yesterday.
One way to indicate to people that you are amazing is by complaining that you are mistreated. This and that, well, they're all unacceptable because I'm a queen and I should be treated as such.
Our kids are little. We're going to have to move. How do you raise kids in the White House? It's dangerous. As the first black potential president, we knew there would be death threats. There were just how would we afford it? Because it's expensive to live in the White House. There's many people don't know, I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income. So all of that was in my mind. How would we manage this?
Now, in the same interview in which she made the ridiculous hair comment, Michelle Obama had the audacity to state that America was not ready for a woman president.
As we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. We got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
What a nasty, condescending, degenerate ingrate. She pretends that America isn't mature and that she is. We're not as evolved as she is. But as Greg Gutfeld pointed out the other day, we have literally legalized gay marriage in America. We certainly have progressed far beyond being willing to elect a female president, for better or for worse. It's not the gender that's the problem here. It's the caliber of the talent. But it's a great excuse to say that America isn't ready for a woman president, because she knows she would never win. She's a low IQ, resentful racist with zero personal accomplishments, in spite of being given far more opportunities than 99.9% of America. Now, I decided to save the best clip for last because this one is just insane.
Every day, every time I was up, as we called it, I was up for the public.
Yes.
And the days were long. So as you mentioned, to save time.
Yes.
I know having a glam team, a trifecta, it feels like a luxury, but it was a time necessity.
Yes.
There's absolutely no way that I would be able to do my hair and makeup and have clothes ready that fit, because rare is the woman that can live off the rack.
Yes.
Michelle Obama, a woman with no real talent or intellect or great beauty, has fallen backwards into one of the most luxurious, prestigious lives imaginable. She has had servants running around day and night, catering to her every need. And Michelle still complains about it. This is why so many people, when describing Michelle Obama, use the word insufferable. Laverne Spicer posted a reaction to Michelle Obama's recent narcissistic comments. She wrote, "Dear Michelle Obama, let me school your miserable mother effing ass, since you can't seem to remember how blessed you are. You are married to the first black president in American history. You are the first black first lady in American history. Because of that, you and Barack left the White House richer than when y'all slithered into it. Because of that, your black ass got $1 million book deal, a $60 million Netflix deal, and because of that, y'all own mansions. Because of that, y'all own beachfront property. Because of that, y'all's kids and grandkids are set for life. Because of all of that, your family's net worth is over $100 million. And yet you've got the mother effing nerve to still get on stage, whining like you're picking cotton in 1855 instead of sipping champagne in Martha's Vineyard. No black American woman will ever be as privileged as you are, bitch." So sit your ungrateful, race-hustling ass down and thank the country that you've spent 8 years crapping on. America gave you everything. The least you could do is shut the F up and smile, ho. Tell us what you really think, Laverne. Anyway, I thought that response was just beautiful. Very well said. But I actually think there was an even more eloquent and brilliant response, and that honor goes to Victor Davis Hanson.
Michelle Obama, of course, is on her whining tour, I guess we could say that. And she said that while she was in the White House, she was under a particularly white hot glare.
Michelle, Who was on the cover of Vogue repeatedly and who wasn't as First Lady? You were on the cover, and Melania never was. Melania was a professional international model. I know Barack Obama said yesterday you were fine, but I think most people would say that Melania is as pretty or prettier than you are and more elegantly dressed, as not reflection on you, just that's what models are. But she wasn't on once. And let me ask you another question. Who was treated more unfairly, Donald Trump and Melania Trump, by the media? I'm talking now, NPR, PBS, NBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post. I could go on, or you. You. When Donald Trump made the cover of a magazine like the New Republic, he had a Hitler mustache. When you and Barack on it, he was dressed like FDR and said, the new socialism is back. Everybody bent over backwards to accommodate you. Your memoir was a best-selling book. You were treated with kid gloves. So when you said you'd never been proud of the country, you said it was a downright mean country. You said they always raise the bar on people like us. You were given a pass. You were given a pass, and your whole life was. You came out of Harvard Law School. You were in a Chicago law firm. You wanted a sneaker count right away. And then when he was elected senator, they gave you a non-job for $250,000, basically at the University of Chicago Medical School, to direct people away from the medical school who couldn't pay. You were always given either equitable treatment or exemplary treatment. If you want to go Google and say, make fun of First Lady, see how many things come up under Melania versus you. And it will be much more. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, you have to run for president. You used that bully pulpit to push all of your issues. As far as altering the White House, you made a special little kind of nice organic garden. You did whatever you wanted. And now you're worth probably over $100 million. And no offense, but I don't think that you and Barack had any reputation, history, CV, resume of being particularly accomplished Netflix content thinkers, creators. That's what they gave you, $20 million? So you walked out of the White House. Remember Barack had said, I'm not going to run the president. I'm going to do it to transform the country. I'm not going to do it just to cash in. That's what you did. So can't you just say, this is an amazing country that a black man and woman were elected president with a greater white vote than the previous white candidate. But that didn't happen. Almost immediately when you came in, you gave the typical Michelle chip on your shoulder. Well, I was in a Target and a shorter woman wanted me to reach and didn't know who I was, so I had to reach for a package to give to her. It happens to all of us, Michelle, happens to all of us all the time. Life is so hard on you because you have a beach estate in Hawaii that you built, contrary to many environmental regulations. You have a boat on Martha's Vineyard on the seashore, cliff. I think it's 20 acres. And then you've got your Kalorama mansion. You still have your Chicago nice thing and your Tony Rezko acquired big yard. And yet that's not enough. All you do, we had to pay for food. We had to pay for food when we were in the White House. I really doubt that they sent you a bill for a ham sandwich. No offense. But it's all complaint. Barack said the other day, he's trying to whip up the racial sentiment. He said, and they just confused. They just see a black guy and they say you got the job at DEI. Well, get rid of DEI and you won't think that. And in your case, Barack, you came with a mediocre record after 2 years from what we can ascertain from anecdotal evidence, since you wouldn't release your student records. And you went to Columbia, and then you didn't release your Columbian grades, and then somebody got you into the Harvard Law School. Would you please release your Harvard Law School admissions LSAT and GPA from Columbia, and then we will know whether you got in on DEI or not. Because you didn't really cut a wide swath as an impressive law student when you graduated. And from what people tell us in anecdotal information, when you were given a year with no teaching abilities and a fellowship to write a book on what? Contractual or constitutional law? You wrote about yourself. If you did write about yourself, there was accusations that Bill Ayers wrote it, and there were certain things in his memoir that anecdotes that were strikingly similar to yours. But let's not judge you. And it was a bestseller, and you were on your way to the races. So both of you have nothing to complain about. There are millions of people in America, Indian, Hispanic, black, white, who would die to have the opportunities that you have. But you can never let it alone. Till the moment you go to the grave, you're going to be complaining about this country.
I could not have said it better myself. And that is why I have stolen your clip and spliced it into my own video here, naturally. Anyway, that is why America absolutely hates Michelle Obama. We don't hate you because you're black, Michelle. We hate you because of the very striking contrast between your astronomical privilege and your ridiculous whining. We hate you because you are a horrible person. Well, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And remember, it's not that all liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. Good night.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.